start first. Okay, we're good. I think we're all rolling.
Okay, that was just want me to start talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. We're here this morning in reference to the racial hatred remarks that Mark Taylor has expressed toward people of color, which black people. And so we're here because the NAACP was founded in 1909, 114 years ago. Um, and our purpose for organizing was to eliminate violence against black people. Um, it's been 114 years ago, and today we're dealing with some of the same issues, people expressing violence toward um, black people. Our concern today is the fact that Mr. Mark Taylor has coached and trained black students throughout the Middle Georgia area. And we don't know what type of effect that he has had or what type of treatment that these kids may have endured during his training. Also, during his videos, he expressed, during his videos, he made terroristic threats. We will be asking for the GBIs to do an investigation so he could possibly be charged because he actually made terroristic threats against people of color, and we will not tolerate any type of behavior such that he has exemplified toward African Americans or black people. We want to send a very clear message that we would not stand for this type of behavior. We have zero tolerance for racial hatred. And at this point, we're asking for these parents to make some type of conscious decision about their kids. We have done an investigation to make sure that there was a letter released from Central Fellowship Academy that they have terminated their lease with him. He did have an establishment here in Macon. And so they have terminated that lease agreement where he would no longer be training students at that facility. And we're glad of that because he doesn't need to be around not only black kids, but no students. He should be not be around any type of students, but that type of behavior that he has exemplified.
How soon are you expecting, or maybe not expecting, how soon do you seek action from GBI or other law enforcement entities? How quickly do you want to get moving on this, and why is it important?
We want to get moving on as soon as possible. We want to get moving on this as soon as possible. Our Georgia State Conference President, President Gerald Griggs, is in full support of the Make-A-Bill branch in the Houston County decision. He's in full support of our decision as to get the GBIs involved for an investigation for possible charges for terroristic threats. He will also be making releasing a statement. We want to get this done as soon as possible because we don't know, even sometimes students, when they're trying to advance, they will be silent about things that is happening to them when they're being mistreated. They'll be silent for the simple fact, because they want to advance. We want a thorough investigation to look into the terroristic threats and the fact that he's coached black kids and he's exemplified his true feelings how he feel about black people.
I spoke to one of the parents of students that were coached by Mark Taylor. They told me that they tried to draw attention to some of his behaviors in 2021 and that it caused a divide in the community. Those who were in favor of him expressing what they describe as free speech, and those who are in favor of preventing that behavior from escalating to what we've seen recently. Why is it important to draw attention to that behavior as soon as it's noticed, and what can the community do to stop that from happening?
Well, I think it's very important when attention is brought to a situation like this that we act on it then, because what happens is when you prolong it and doesn't deal with the issue, someone suffers from that, and sometimes they have long term mental health problems um, when things are prolonged. So it's very important that we deal with situations like this head on, and we deal with it when it happens. Yes.
Yes. My name is Jonathan Johnson. I'm the president of the Houston County NAACP. I came over here to join with this third vice president, state vice president, on this issue that's going on. That's going on. Um, and my position is on this issue is that it seems like Mr. Mark Taylor, when he was speaking on his videos and making his racial slurs, that um, that he was doing it with someone that he was very comfortable with, and he was speaking to a lot of friends, and that's what Facebook is. It's a friend app, and I believe there's more people um, that he's associated with that carries this same attitude and on on racial injustice, and I feel that not only is that he's going to be having to deal with situations that he's caused on himself, but I believe others that has promoted this and put this out here on him, whether he was knew about it or whether he didn't know about it. Still, the words that he said, he spoke those words, and those people that are sitting back enjoying his downfall, let it be known that the NAACP is not going to take any injustice from anyone. So if his day has come today, their day will come as well.
Ms. Westbrook's expressed that the GBI would be investigating terrorist threats. What outcome do you hope to see from that investigation?
I feel that he should be maybe disciplined in a way that I understand they were customers. They paid for his services, and some of them I heard that went off into the NFL. They have great careers. He did a great job in that area, but there's some areas in his life that I feel that he should uh, remember and think of the people and the kids that he's developing. That they not only be developing their academic in their athletic ability, but be developing into their mental, physical, and emotional health. Because I know that this has taken a toll on them, having the respect for him in his field of athletics.
Do you anticipate that Taylor will face criminal charges for the things that he said in the videos?
Um, yes, he did say some terroristic threats towards some people that when he was entering in some of those videos coming into Atlanta. Um, I feel that he doesn't have the right to judge how many blacks are in Atlanta or how many females or asking them to come to his room and things of that nature. Um, I just feel that he has a man that has a lot of things to deal with within himself.
Is this the first time you've ever, I don't want to say collaborated, is this the first time you've ever worked with the GBI on something like this? What's the process for that like? What should people expect?
Well, basically, our state president and Miss President Westbrook here is our third vice president for the NAACP. She mostly the state president has worked with the GBI on those things. we as a local branch normally sends things when it get to that level to the state, and they handle those situations.
Specific, specific words. Specific words that he used was because he thinks that there are too many blacks in Atlanta, was to get someone there to hunt black people down and kill them because he thought it was too many black people in Atlanta. And also to lynch and hang someone from a tree. Those are his specific words. Um, that's considered a hate crime here in Georgia. And we will not tolerate any type of hatred toward any specific race. He specified a specific race, and we will not tolerate. We have zero tolerance for anyone that has any type of racial hatred toward any race. And so we're hoping that the GBI will investigate this, because we will be asking them to investigate this. We want him charged for terroristic threats because that's exactly what he did.
And what would you say to people who would argue that he was expressing his right to free speech?
Well, that's a line drawn when it comes to expressing free speech. He he actually made terroristic threats. That's not freedom of speech. And when you start talking about causing bodily harm to someone, that's not a freedom of speech. Those are action words, and it was terroristic threats. We we know that he's a private trainer, and that um, parents may see it different, even though people have been successful in his training. He benefits from putting these people in these positions. He benefits from everything that he's done, but that does not change his heart. He still feels the way he feels about black people. My concern, NAACP's concern, is we don't know what these young adults or students have endured through this process that may have caused emotional damages to these students, because they're trying to excel. So we don't know we want an investigation as to that also, because we want to make sure that no one else that he trains have to go through what he says one thing, he demonstrates one thing, but he does something else. And in this video, it shows his true color, how he feels about people of color.
In the video, there were two other people that were mentioned. How do you think they will also be investigated? Because when he was referring to the black woman being hung, he said Roe will hang you from the tree. How do you think that will, even though they weren't in the video, but he did mention it?
And we don't know what Roe means. We don't know whether or not Roe is a person or not. There's been some specific talk about what Roe means. It doesn't necessarily mean an individual person. Um, we don't know as far as who else is involved, but we're just appreciative that whoever released that video was released, so no other student will have to endure. I'm just outraged.
And what would you say to the students who may have been hurt by his behaviors or by his language?
Well, I'm hoping that these students will come forward if they've experienced any type of racial treatment, racial hatred treatment from Mr. Taylor. I'm hoping that they will come forward, because people need to come forward so there can be an investigation. A lot of times when something like this happens, people do come out. We're just hoping that these students come out, and hopefully the students that he's trained that has moved on. I'm hoping that they will also come out because he's still coaching. He has an office in Warner Robins also. We can't express enough how important it is for students to be honest. Sometimes it may be embarrassing for people to come forward, but we're hoping these students come forward because we need to know the truth.
What will the NAACP's response be if the GBI declines the investigation?
Well, we're hoping that they don't. We're hoping that they don't decline. This is very serious, and I think that it's going to get to a point where it may even go national. I don't think this is just going to be a local situation here in Macon.
And have y'all tried to contact Mark Taylor at all?
No, we have not tried to contact Mr. Taylor. I don't think it's a need to. He's expressed very well how he feels about Black people, so it's no point in trying to reach out to him. I don't think that us reaching out to him is going to change his mind how he feels.
President Westbrook, I'm here today representing the Georgia Association of Black Elected Officials.
Okay.
Senator David Lucas is the president of that organization, and that's thousands of elected officials across the state of Georgia. And we are very, very concerned about this, and we join with you. That's GABIO, the Georgia Association of Black Elected Officials. We join with you in your concern, and we are with you 100% in asking. And I personally, as an elected official in this community, I am so distressed at this kind of thing and the idea that someone has had access to young minds, to young bodies, to our most precious asset in our community and could have done irreparable damage. So we salute the NAACP in your efforts to push for this. And we are with you 100% in whatever actions you deem necessary. And we're also welcoming the Black Voters Matter organization, and she wants to also express concern and support.
Yes, my name is Ida Gary. I'm the Middle Georgia Regional Organizer with Black Voters Matter. And we're here just to offer our support and let it be known that, yes, we are very disgusted with these comments that this individual made. I don't even want to mention his name because I don't think it gives credence to it. And he's already gone viral. It's a national issue. And we're sick and tired of people telling us that we're really sensitive. We play the race card when things like this continue to happen. So what do you suggest we do? What do you call it? So yes, we are here calling for that investigation by the GBI, and we would like to see charges pressed against the individual.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Well, what's next is after today, we will go ahead and proceed with getting the GBI involved to do an investigation. We've already confirmed our next step was going to actually protest with the company that he was at the facility. But when we did the investigation, we found out that actual facility had broke ties with him. So we don't want to protest against someone, against a company that has broken ties with him. So our next step is to ask for an investigation with the GBIs. We want charges brought against him. And as I stated earlier, we have zero tolerance for racial hatred. and we would not stand for it, period.
Is it contracted to do anything with the schools, or just it's just private business?
It's his private business. We also investigated that. Also, we contacted the school districts to make sure that they were not referring students to him. And I have spoken to the assistant superintendent of Houston County, and we've spoken to district school district here in Bibb County, and he is not affiliated in any way with our school district, and we want to make sure that.
What would you ask of the community who is wanting to stand in solidarity with the NAACP and with the students who were coached under Taylor and the families who are affected by this hateful speech?
We just want this community to know that we're asking for you to stand with us. This is a very serious issue. We should not be dealing with this type of behavior in 2023. Lynching, like I said, we organized this organization was organized because of lynching of Black people back in 1909, 114 years ago. And today we're still dealing with people's behavior that feel that Black people should be lynched. And we will not tolerate it, period. We're just asking for this community to stand with us on this issue. There will be other things that we're gonna be doing as far as, depending on the GBI report, we'll be planning some other things, but we're gonna be collaborating with our Georgia State Conference. I am the third vice president for the state of Georgia also, and we will be working with our our state president on these issues. He will actually most likely take the lead on it.
I'd like to speak as well. I'm the vice president of the local chapter here, and one of the statements I want to make about Mr. Taylor is we know that across the state of Georgia and across the country, what can happen when people incite other people. And when you talk about racism and you're calling out people to take on certain actions, these actions can be very fatal. We've seen it happen in Atlanta. We've seen it happen across the state. We just saw it happen in Kentucky and other places where people take it upon themselves to take justice upon themselves. And these kinds of things cannot be tolerated because we don't want an after effect. We want to be proactive with these types of things. And hatred has no place. It has no place in our community or other communities. And so any type of hatred is not considered any type of free speech. It's simply what it is, it's hatred. And we stand against that.
I think that concludes our interview. You don't see it. Okay.
Thank you so much for holding this conference today. We really appreciate your
Thank you.
input and your stance on the issue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're tangled. Sorry.
Yeah, I see that.
Thank you, sir. Could you tell me your first and last name and your title, please?
First name Willie, last name Dumas, Vice President Macon, the NAACP.
Can you spell
Macon
your
Bibb.
first and last name for me?
First name Willie, last name Dumas, DUMA.